Assalamu alaikum students. I'm your ma'am Miss Adia Qureshi, an assistant professor in English, and today in the class of critical thinking and reasoning, ADP semester 2, we are going to talk about how to define induction. First of all, we will define what is induction. It applies the general rules and principles from observations to specific problems. These general principles are based on knowledge of those specific examples and their details. It means that if you are going through a problem and you want to have its solution, or you want to reach to a conclusion, what you need to do is this, that you need to apply the general rules or the principles as that were there as an observation for those specific problems that had happened in the past, and then you are going to apply those general rules with the knowledge of their specific examples, and then you are going to have the details of those problems, and then you can apply those rules or those conclusions onto your own problems. It means that what had happened in the past, you had gone through it, it had happened generally, and now you are going through a specific problem, but you will take help from that general example to your specific problem. The other thing is that induction involves going on from specific case to the general case. It means that some specific case would have happened in the past, but now that specific case has become a general case. So many people have gone through that problem. So now you are also going through that problem, so you are going to apply that specific case problem that was there in the general case, and you are going to apply it on your own problem. Background and details tell us that it was evolved by Bacon. Bacon is basically known as a widely known thinker and philosopher. He has given this idea that induction method should be applied on the problems of today. He took up the Aristotelian ideas, arguing with empirical inductive approach. Basically, the Aristotelian ideas talk about the deductive approach. So he argued that deductive approach is not a good approach to get the solutions of problems. He argued that with an empirical inductive approach. What is this inductive approach? This is inductive approach that you sort out the problem with the help of scientific method, which is the foundation of modern scientific inquiry. In this method, what do? The method is not obtrusive by the false premises. Premises means the logics. We will not take the false logic or the false argument or the indelicate or ambiguous verbal syllogism, and we will not find any problem, the solution of any problem by the help of these false premises, arguments, or indelicacies, or the ambiguities of these verbal syllogism, but we will take the help from the observations that had happened in the past, which were true in their sense and which are applicable on the modern society. We cannot take help from the absence of supporting evidence as well, because if we are not having any supporting evidence, how we are going to sort out this problem? Simple words to identify induction method. Now in your book there are so many examples that are given, and we are going to read those simple examples, but before that we go through the idea that how we can simply identify what is induction method. It moves from certain examples and patterns of reasoning that are derived from the evidences about certain people in the past. It means that certain examples and patterns must be there present in the past, and we will derive our reasoning or evidences from those certain examples. These certain examples must be laid by certain people in the past, and the conclusions about the other people facing the problems in the present will be derived from these examples that are happened in the past. Induction is a method to take what is known and predict what is unknown. It means that we knew that this problem had happened in the past, and we are going to apply the same evidences, same observations, same logic on the problem that we are going through in the present. We do not know, we are only predicting that this problem can be solved by those examples. It is also called the egg rule method. Egg rule method means that we will take the example first, and then we will make the rule afterwards, and then we will apply it on our problem. Deduction was a rule egg method. It means that you make the rule first, then you take the example. But in induction, we take the example first and we make the rule secondly, and then we apply it on our problem. Now we are going to read the some of the examples which are there on the page 40 of our book, and these are basically the drawbacks of deduction and the induction method to sort out the problems faced in daily life. This book is basically written by Dr. Muhammad Sadiq. It is published by Al Badr Kitab Ghar, and the name of this book is Critical Thinking and Reasoning. So I would like everybody to open up page number 40 of this book, and we are going to read it. The last paragraph of page number 39, we can also add that they are saying that after studying the patterns involved in the earthquakes and the major earthquakes that have occurred in so far, students might infer when and where the next earthquake in Kashmir might take place. It means that previously these earthquakes have taken place in specific areas of Kashmir, so we can predict that now the future earthquakes can also be also occur in these specific areas. Suppose that the study of a large number of auto accidents reveals that most of those automobile accidents, the drivers were male and were under 19 years of age. Using inductive reasoning, one might conclude that young males are less safe drivers than young female drivers. This conclusion begins with the specifics, the drivers and their genders, and the occurrence type of accidents. It means that if there is a history of accidents that is happening on one road, and the drivers basically are under the age of 19, so we can divide these drivers into two categories or genders: female drivers and male drivers. But we see that the history tells us that the male drivers are less careful and they're mostly careless in driving, and that is why the accidents are happening more in number. So we can derive to a conclusion that female drivers are careful drivers or male drivers are not careful drivers, or most of the accidents happen because of the carelessness of the male drivers. The conclusion drawn in the above case is not necessarily true. There may involve factors other than the sex and the age of the drivers and the nature of the accident. It means that the gender or the age or the nature of the accident can vary. It's not a very fact and figures per related conclusion. It can vary. Now we read more about the inductive reasoning, and we read about the drawbacks and the benefits of inductive and deductive reasoning. In inductive reasoning, we move from specific examples to the general conclusion. The conclusion may contain some inaccuracies because of all the specific facts may not be generalized to very case. It means that maybe there is a problem and we have found the solution of that problem by reviewing the problems that had happened in the past. But we can say that all the rules of inductive method cannot be applied to a general problem. It means that we can pick out some rules and we can leave the other rules. Therefore, the inductive method alone did not provide a completely satisfactory system for the solution of a problem. Random collection of individual observations without unifying concepts or focus often obscure the investigations. Therefore, it rarely led to a generalization or theory. The same set of observations can lead to a different conclusion and may support differences, even opposing theories. मतलब कि everything or every rule that you had applied on the problem that you had faced in the previous life cannot be applied on the problem that you are facing presently. There might be some rules that you have to omit, there might be some rules that you have to pick. So it is something that is inaccurate. It is not going to give you a clear-cut solution of any problem. Same is the case with deductive method. Separately, both deduction and induction have drawbacks and are insufficient to generate authentic knowledge. The deductive method of Aristotle and the inductive method of Bacon were fully integrated in the works of Charles Darwin in 19th century. The deductive and inductive method is now recognized as scientific method. In 1938, American John Dewey propose a pattern that is helpful in identifying the elements of deduction or induction in process as the methods of science, and they are given as under. Now you need to know that on which problems you are going to apply the deductive method, on which problems you are going to apply the inductive method. And John Dewey has proposed a pattern that is going to be helpful in identifying the elements of deductive or inductive process. The first element of deductive or inductive process is you need to identify and you need to define the problem. Formula of hypothesis is very important. Hypothesis means that you are going to do a detailed, detailed view of that problem. Now you're going to formalize a hypothesis that you have given a detail, the probable solution to the problem based on the intelligent guesses. Means to say that if you want to apply the rule of induction or deduction, before that you are going to sort out that what can be the probable solution. Probable solution means what can be the maybe solution. Maybe this is the solution, maybe this is the solution, or maybe this is the solution. Number 3 is collection, organization, and analysis of data. Obviously you are going to collect some data that why this problem has occurred and what is the series of events that made this problem occur, and what is the data that has helped this problem to occur. So you're going to collect, organize, and analyze all that data. Drawing conclusions. Now drawing conclusions can be based on inductive method as well, from general to specific, and deductive method as well, from specific to general. So you're drawing conclusion through both ways. It is upon your choice, but you need to draw a correct conclusion. Number 5 is verification, rejection, or modification of the hypothesis by testing its consequences in the specific situation. It means that you need to see that where you are going to apply the verification, from where you are going to get the verification. If the problem is sorted and it is sorted in a nicely good way, so it means that the solution that you had applied can be verified. If the problem does not give you a right solution, it means that the observations or the collection of the data or the organization or the analysis of the data was not right, so you have to reject it. Or you can modify the hypothesis by testing the conclusions or by testing the consequences that had happened in the past, and now you are going to apply them in the future. So this is our lecture for today. If you have any queries, you can read these questions, you can read these MCQs, and you can talk about them in the comment section below. So our lecture of today is over. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you understand that lecture. Take care of yourself. For the next time, Allah Hafiz.